Space is vast, and it's unlikely that we'll ever unravel all of its secrets. Some scientists have even come forward and said that our universe is so complex that our brains are too small to understand it. Every year we discover new galaxies and exoplanets that give us an insight into how vast the universe is. It's not known if complex life forms exist in these solar bodies. After all, we only know life on this planet, and sometimes we have a habit of comparing our planet to others. It's anyone's guess as to what exists on these distant planets. With space comes questions, and one of the ones that always comes up is, are we alone in the universe? Are there other complex life forms out there? Or are there more advanced beings living in distant galaxies? The truth is, we've not even explored a fraction of our universe to be in the position to give an answer. But simple math will tell you that where there's one, there's usually more. Take our solar system for example. On various planets, scientists have said there's microbes and these contain the building blocks for life. Just recently, Professor Jane Greaves of Cardiff University made the incredible discovery of phosphine gas, and this was made on the planet Venus. These exist in the clouds, and it's interesting to note that this is a molecule which is produced on our planet. We've just discovered huge amounts of water on the surface of the moon, with scientists and researchers making more and more discoveries every year, and all of this is happening within a tiny solar system that sits within the universe. It's for this reason that we can't rule out that there's other life forms somewhere out there. Back in 1974 we sent a very strong beam into space. The broadcast came from the Arecibo radio telescope, and the message was to let anything out there listening know that we are here. The message that was sent out was a simple one. It consisted of a pictorial message giving basic information about humans and the planet we live on. It was sent to the M13 cluster. This sits on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. Scientists said this message was very powerful as it used Arecibo's megawatt transmitter. We would also be able to track the message anywhere in the galaxy. The SETI Institute said the following on their website. The message consists of 1,679 bits, arranged into 73 lines of 23 characters per line. These are both prime numbers and may help the aliens decode the message. The ones and zeros were transmitted by frequency shifting at the rate of 10 bits per second. The total broadcast was less than 3 minutes. A graphic showing the message is reproduced here. It consists, among other things, of the Arecibo telescope, our solar system, DNA, a stick figure of a human, and some of the biochemicals of earthly life. Although it's unlikely that this short inquiry will ever prompt a reply, the experiment was useful in getting us to think about the difficulties of communicating across space, time and presumably wide culture gaps." End quote. According to UFO researchers, we did get a reply. Now, before I carry on, it's important to note that this image is a recreation, but it's a recreation of a message we received in a crop circle. The crop circle appeared in August 2001 in Chilbolton in Hampshire, and one of the things you'll notice is that, as many have pointed out, it looks very similar to the message we sent out. This has caused some to say that something did receive the message and they did reply, and their way of doing this was by leaving markings in a crop circle. As mentioned, the crop circle appeared in a field close to Chilbolton in Hampshire, which can be found in England. But something interesting to note is that this isn't just any ordinary field. The site where this was found had highly sensitive equipment, CCTV cameras monitoring the nearby areas, and high levels of security to ensure that no one was trespassing. This means it's very unlikely that someone would be able to sneak into the area and start making a crop circle. After all, those who have said they can create crop circles have explained that some of them can take several days, with some of the more complex ones taking several weeks. How then do you explain these complex designs appearing overnight? Researchers reached out and contacted officials who were at the site on the day this message appeared, and they said that although at this time the fields weren't covered, they did have people manning the fields, going on to say this happens 24 hours a day. No further cooperation was received by those who were working that night, and no more replies followed. This has caused some UFO researchers to believe they pretty much admitted that it would have been impossible for someone to sneak in and create these designs. As of right now, UFO researchers believe this message was a direct response to the one we sent out into the cosmos. Not everyone is entirely convinced though. One skeptic said the following about the message. It's easy to see that this is not real and it's just someone messing around. They even copied the same markings as the one we originally sent out. This is fake. End quote. While a UFO researcher responded with this. Firstly, this isn't fake. The message was etched into land where there's a high amount of security. It's government owned, and obviously if something was to reply they would use the same markings as the ones they received. In doing so, they would know that whatever was reading it would understand the writing style. They are not going to reply with completely different markings. That wouldn't make any sense. It's sad to see this crop circle has been looked over. The problem is a few people have managed to create some interesting designs, and now everyone thinks that all of them are just fake. It's a real shame as I believe some of these messages are replies to things that we've sent out, and one of the ways they reply is by putting impressions in things like crop circles. End quote. As of right now, many amateur researchers believe this message is a response to the message we sent out, and suggest we should be more open-minded, as this could have been something trying to reach out and contact us. Ancient Egypt is a place of wonder. For years people have looked at the Great Pyramids and wondered how ancient man achieved this incredible feat. It's fair to say that the ancient Egyptians were way ahead of their time, being able to create incredible structures that have stood up to the test of time, being able to read the constellations to an incredible degree of precision, and create giant monoliths that outweigh some of our biggest modern day machinery. This ancient society is seen as the cradle of human civilization, and the advancements made by the ancient civilization of Egypt are unmatched. Not only have their developments puzzled and astounded researchers and archaeologists for decades, but every year more and more information comes forth, showing the incredible might and prowess of their ancient culture. It's no wonder that more out there theories have been put forward to try and explain how they did it. Egyptologists and scientists don't believe that the ancient Egyptians had any help, and that they were gifted enough to have achieved this all on their own. Going back several years ago, an interesting photograph was captured on a live camera that was pointed towards the pyramids. Upon closer inspection, it was noted that a large sphere-like object could be seen hovering above the ground. The object looks to be an almost perfect circle, and doesn't look like it could be a smudge on the camera. Not many people have seen this photograph, and so it's been hard to track down what camera this came from. But the story goes that it was a random live camera that allowed people at the time to view the pyramids. One of the first websites to feature the image uploaded it back in 2009, with people being confused about what had been captured. UFO researchers were very happy when this image started to make the rounds online, as for years they've believed that the ancient Egyptians had help when it came to the construction of the pyramids. One UFO researcher said the following about the image. The fascinating thing about UFOs is that they come in all shapes and sizes, and this shaped UFOs often being labelled as the orb or the sphere. Different theories have been presented to explain what the purpose of these objects are, but most who have looked into the phenomenon have said these objects act as a type of drone, scanning areas and flying up close to things as if they're inspecting them. Once they've done this, they can usually be seen making a quick exit. End quote. For years, these strange orbs have been witnessed by people across the planet. One of the most interesting accounts of these orbs comes from that of the mysterious Skinwalker ranch. The family living here started noticing glowing blue balls moving across the property. The balls gave off a crackling sound, seemed intelligently controlled, and could either hover or move unbelievably fast. One evening the family watched as a blue ball approached one of their horses. The light hovered within a few feet of the horse's face, which spooked it immediately. From a distance of 10 feet they then shined a flashlight on the blue globe and it retreated. It then approached one of the family members as if inspecting them. They described it as a glass ball about the size of a baseball, which appeared to contain two blue fluids which intermingled with each other. This is what people think was captured in this image. Staying on the subject of ancient Egypt, researchers have looked into the accounts of higher beings and said that ancient Egypt changed when they claimed to have got assistance from the gods. All throughout Egyptian mythologies are references to their supposed gods, assisting the early Egyptian civilization by providing vast amounts of untapped knowledge about the universe, as well as providing gifts to humans to assist with further endeavours. One of the biggest pieces of evidence for this intervention pertains to the establishment of the first Egyptian civilization that centered around the creation of agriculture and specialized craft. Many Egyptologists and archaeological researchers believe that prior to the development of large cities, the early Egyptian people lived in scattered and small tribes all throughout the region. This did not change until, strangely enough, there was an introduction of what would come to be the basis of the Egyptian religious practices, which essentially meant that the majority of the breakthroughs in agriculture, urban development and a unified government did not begin forming until after the Egyptian religion was established, which presumably played a key role in these developments for the early civilization. Interestingly, assistance in agriculture can be found when looking through Egyptian mythologies in reference to gifts provided by their gods, such as that of the domestic cat. According to the Egyptian mythological record, the domestic cat came from the Egyptian gods as a peace offering, after the goddess of the sun Hathor transformed into Sekhmet, of which is physically represented by the cat species, and went on an unending rampage against humanity. The domesticated cat was supposedly genetically modified by the Egyptian gods, and this was in order to be seen as the most perfect companion for humanity in its times of need. Fortunately enough, it turned out to work perfectly, as the sudden appearance of the domesticated cat allowed agriculture to flourish in ways that had never previously been seen. This was due to the fact that the domesticated cat would eat the vermin that would otherwise spread diseases in a city, ravage the local crops and eat stored grains. Scientifically speaking, even more has now been understood about the feline in our modern era, with scientists uncovering that the cat's purr is at a specific frequency of which allows rapid cell growth and healing in both humans and felines in the case of traumatic injury. Interestingly, it's also been found in the archaeological record that the domesticated cat, for reasons completely unknown and not entirely understood, did not appear in the fossil record until the establishment of the Egyptian civilization and a rising in that region, which helps to provide the additional proof necessary to enhance the claim that the Egyptian civilization benefited by their incredible connection with advanced beings they claim to be their gods. With the advancement of technology, millions of us are now able to tune into live streams to watch the launches of space missions. There's never been a better time to access space footage from home. However, this footage often causes controversy in UFO circles, with hundreds of images and clips hitting the web and becoming the subjects of viral debates. There are people that spend hundreds of hours carefully analysing footage, looking for anything that may seem unusual. One place where alleged UFOs have been seen is that of Mars. Ever since humans managed to send rovers to Mars, there have been people who have claimed to have seen Martian objects on the planet's surface. Famous authors and scientists have long speculated about possible Martian life on the planet, so it was inevitable that humans would become fascinated with signs of life once we reached its surface. UFO hunters online have spent hundreds of hours scanning through thousands of live streams and NASA photographs in the hopes of finding something strange. This has in turn caused other researchers to try their luck in finding anomalies in these photographs, and it seems that there's no shortage of strange images. One photograph that was sent to me several years ago was this one, with the individuals saying that it looks like a large object can be seen hovering above the Martian surface. Not much information could be gathered about the photograph, with them saying that they sent it to me because they thought it was a UFO. Others have seen similar looking objects on the Martian surface, with one UFO researcher saying the following: "Seeing unidentified flying objects on the Martian surface is not uncommon, and if you're patient and have time to look through the massive NASA library, you will likely discover one yourself. I've seen many objects hovering above Mars, some of which are similar to orbs while others look like large triangular crafts. I believe that something is happening on Mars that we're not being told about." End quote. Another place where UFOs have been reported is that of the International Space Station. UFOs have been seen countless times on live streams and photographs, but there are some which have caused more of a stir online. A NASA livestream from the International Space Station seems to have caught 3 orbs which appear to pass close to the ISS. UFO enthusiasts were left debating what the objects were online, as not 1 but 3 objects came into view on the NASA live feed. Some thought that these objects could have been surveilling human space missions, while others tried to pass them off as a lens flare or other more common occurrences. While UFO enthusiasts were quick to acknowledge the mysterious smoke objects, NASA claims these interferences with live streams are simply lens distortion and not some type of alien craft. While some UFO researchers have said that these unknown crafts could be of alien origin, scientists have said this is not the case, and we shouldn't always jump to conclusions. In 2016, another random object was caught on camera and appeared to fly by the ISS. A diamond-shaped object could be initially seen, but as the footage went on, the object appeared to be changing its shape, and the NASA live feed was randomly cut at the same time. Viewers looking at a blue screen and this instantly caused wild speculation online as to why NASA cut the live feed. NASA later claimed they had not cut the live feed intentionally, and stated they had in fact lost transmission. The timing of the lost transmission seemed all too coincidental to viewers, and many were left believing a cover-up was the real reason for the live feed cut. In April 2017, another mysterious object caught the attention of UFO hunters, and this was again on a live stream. A cylinder-type object entered the view of the camera and was quickly spotted by UFO enthusiasts. Other mysterious footage seen on the ISS livestream went viral, when viewers claimed to have seen a mysterious object heading directly towards the ISS, before quickly disappearing from view. Despite some saying it was an unidentified flying object, others suggested it was nothing more than space junk. Ivan Wagner, a Russian astronaut on the International Space Station, claimed to have caught a UFO on camera. Wagner tweeted the following: "Space guess or how I filmed the new time-lapse." The video, which lasts for 1 minute, shows the auroras passing near Antarctica and Australia. Wagner also said this: "However, in the video you will see something else, not only the aurora." End quote. The incredible footage shows the curved edge of the Earth at night, with the green lights of the auroras moving across its surface, with several objects visible in the background. Between 9 and 12 seconds there are objects which appear to be flying in a formation. Though the video is a time-lapse, so even though in the tweet they appear quickly, the actual footage of the objects flying would be around 52 seconds in real time. The International Space Station is a UFO hotspot when it comes to these sightings. Are alien life forms trying to understand and follow our space endeavours, or do you think these are just space debris being picked up by the space station cameras? Another common place where unidentified flying objects have been reported is that of our moon. In 2016, hundreds of UFOs were reported to have been seen taken off from the surface of the moon. However, experts have claimed this is just a natural phenomenon, which is seen anytime you look at the edge of the moon's surface. Experts claim that what's been seen is nothing more than an optical illusion, caused by digital glitches known as artifacts. Though many UFO sightings are reported, NASA live feeds are often among the most prominent places for UFO researchers to find sightings of mysterious objects. There are many more UFO hunters who don't take to observing the skies at night, but rather observe space from their computers, looking through hundreds of photos and watching live feeds. They say this is one of the best ways to see these strange objects, and that it allows you to compare them to photographs taken a matter of seconds before. Still, UFO researchers and scientists still disagree on what they're seeing, with scientists saying these are nothing more than natural phenomena, while UFO researchers think these UFOs belong to something much more advanced than us. So what do you make of this strange object seen hovering above the Martian surface? Do you think it shows a real craft, or do you think it's just a camera anomaly? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.